Hello everyone, welcome to my second lesson. I tried to give you some advice and secrets about the openings in my first lesson. This time I try to give you some secrets and some advices about the exchanging minor pieces in the middle game. I have to say, firstly, it's really very difficult sometimes to decide when to exchange a knight against bishop, or a bishop against knight, or a bishop against bishop. Of course, I can't give you all of the secrets here in 10 minutes. However, I try to give you a roadmap. Then you can understand how you should think. This roadmap, this general view would be very helpful. But as I said, I can't give you all of the details when you should exchange. Okay, let's start with the examples. I have three types of examples: bishop against bishop, bishop against knight, and knight against bishop. Let's start. My first example is bishop against bishop exchange. I ask you, okay, please look at the position and decide whether the bishop a6 is a correct move with the goal to exchanging b7 bishop against d3 bishop. Please think a while and decide. Okay, if you said it's a good move, you are correct. Why it's a good move? Let me give you a brief explanation about what's a good bishop, what's a bad bishop concept. We always call a bishop bad if the bishop's color is same with the central pawn's colors. What I mean with that, for example, white has pawns on the white colors, that's why that makes white colored bishop is bad for white. Okay, think of it this rule, then decide which of the black bishops is bad, which of is good. Of course, as we see, black central pawns are on dark squares, that's why black dark square colored bishop is bad and white colored bishop is good. That's why if I exchange my bad bishop with black good bishop, it's a good exchange, then I have an advantage. That's why this exchange is a good exchange. Okay, let's look at the second example. We see here very similar position. Now I ask you, if I play bishop a6, it's a good exchange or bad exchange? Please think a while and answer. Okay, if you say it's a good exchange, then unfortunately your answer is wrong, because as I explained just in a minute, as you see, white's central pawns are in black squares, that's why that makes white colored bishop is a good bishop. As you see, this bishop has a free diagonal, then it can maybe help white's attack against the black king, that's why it's a good bishop. Then as you see, white colored bishop is a bad bishop, because black central pawns on white squares, and this bishop is a bad bishop. If we play bishop a6, we make a bad exchange and we make a mistake, that's why it was a wrong move. Let's look now our third example. You know, it's always very difficult, we face always with such kind of move, h6 or h3. Here let's say black played h6. Now we have to decide, we should take the knight or we should retreat, as for example bishop h4 or bishop e3. Okay, I ask you, we should take the knight with bishop takes f6 or we should retreat. Please think a while and answer. Taking knight is a good move or bad move? Okay, if you answer it was a good move, you are correct. Here taking the knight is a good move, because you know, I want to explain second concept. I explained bad bishop or good bishop concept. Now second concept is if we have an open game means central squares are open. If we have an open game, two bishops are always an advantage. We have here two bishops, and if we have two bishops, then if we should exchange one of our bishops, we should always have an advantage exchanging this bishop. I mean, if I should take the knight, I should have an advantage because I lose one of my bishop pairs. Okay, what's my advantage? If I take the knight, black takes my bishop, then my advantage, I control the d5 square. Black can't never just take the control of the d5 square. I can long of time control this d5 square, and this central square is very important because to having a control of a central square can help attacking the king or just controlling a diagonal and so on. Because in future I can play knight a3 here, and black unfortunately can't do anything to control this d5 square. That's why in this position I lose one of my bishops, but I take an advantage to have control of the d5 square. If you thought here that this bishop is a good bishop, I take the knight, it's a bad because I lose my good bishop. It's a wrong answer because you should think always so, okay, I give up my bishop, but do I have an advantage against it? Yes, here we have an advantage. As I said, we have the advantage of d5 square because this f6 knight control the d5 square. We destroy this knight, and after destroying this knight, black is really hopeless to control this d5 square. We can do everything what we want. Okay, let's now see the other example. Okay, here we have a similar situation, we have a similar position. Let's say black against here, again here played h6. Think a while and say, please, we should take the f6 knight, or we have to retreat to h4 or e3. If you say taking the knight is correct, unfortunately your answer is wrong because we have bishop pair, and as I said, bishop pair is almost always an advantage. If I take the knight, I lose my bishop pair advantage, but against it I don't have any advantage, you know. This time with this exchange I gain nothing. That's why this exchange is wrong. That's why I have to play here bishop h4 or bishop h3. Okay, let's look another example. Here I have an example against knight against bishop. My question is, it's black to move. It's a good move to take this bishop in this position or not? Okay, if you say it's a good, you are unfortunately wrong because it's a bad. As you see, white central pawns on dark squares, and this bishop has no feature. This knight is very well placed on e4. To exchange to this well placed knight to against this bishop is would be a mistake. That's why we shouldn't exchange this knight with this bishop. Okay, let's look our last example for today. I asked this time whether to exchange this knight against this bishop is good or not. If you answer it's a good exchange, you are this time correct because this bishop is here very useful because he holds this diagonal, can come to e5 according to continuation of the game, or can hold this critical c7 square. Maybe in future rook can so come to c7 square and bishop can help this rook. That's why taking this bishop this time is good. And I have to call the last concept against bishop. I said good bishop, bad bishop, and third concept is active bishop. This bishop actually is a bad bishop but active bishop. Bad and active bishop is a good bishop. Okay, theoretical point of view, we have pawns in the center on the dark squares. That's why this bishop should be bad. Actually it's not so, because the bishop is out of the pawn chain. That's why we call this bishop active bishop. An active bishop is a good bishop, even though it's called a bad bishop as a theoretical point of view. It's a very important aspect of the chess. You shouldn't learn rules just so by heart. You have to understand the ideas. Okay, maybe here the pawns are on dark squares, but this bishop is very useful out of the pawn chain. That's why it's a good bishop. Okay, I hope the examples helped you to some extent. Maybe you can decide better in your tournament games when you have to exchange against a bishop or bishop against a bishop. They were the basic concepts. Of course, there are too many details against exchanging minor pieces, but what I showed you, they are the most general and most easy examples. I hope they will be very helpful, and I wish you best luck in your tournament games. See you next time. Good luck, have fun.